What's up, everybody, and welcome back. I know it has been a minute, but there's been plenty of content for you to enjoy. So, since we're coming back, let's come back with a little bit of a twist here, if you will. Welcome to the first episode of the Neely and Tolly Show. Neely gets top billing, Uncle Neely, Boulder, Colorado. Let's get right into it, Neely. We haven't seen each other in a while. A lot in the world has changed. A lot over here has changed. I'm open. First shot against the bow, over the bow, whatever it is, goes to you, Neely.
Tolly. All I know is this, my brother. Every time I do some content on the Pregame Show Network, somebody in the comments says, "Where's Tolly Carr? What happened to the rewind? Where's Tolly Carr? Did somebody take his blazer? Did the Smithsonian Civil Rights Museum want their clothes back?" Somebody comes in there and says something, and I say, "Hey, man, it's like they say in the media business, Tolly Carr is off on assignment. He'll be back soon." And now here you are back. Tyler, I ain't seen you, as they say in Mississippi, in a month of Sundays.
It has been a while. Let's explain to the fans. So I got a couple of black jobs this fall. So I have been away. Doing a pregame show for HBCU Go that had me traveling a lot. I've been doing some color commentary for SWAC football. So I just been collecting checks, Neely. Look, I got those 3 kids, man. I have to make it happen.
I've shared that with everybody when I can find a question and answer it. I told them about the pregame show at HBCU Go, and brought to you by Procter & Gamble. Shout out to them. It's been looking good. I've been able to check it out with our delayed kickoff times from time to time. So everybody knows you've been off on a good assignment. Like you said, those good old black jobs.
Yes, I don't know how many we're gonna have after January. So I gotta squeeze it right now, man. So we can get it. I don't know what I'll be doing on January 21st. All right, Neely, there's so much to talk about, and since we've kind of revamped the show, and we did that because we want to talk about whatever we want to talk about. We're still going to talk about Colorado football. I still want to talk about Jackson State football, which is your alma mater, and whatever floats the boat of 2 middle-aged men. So it'll have the flavor of the rewind, and we'll just expand upon the topics. And so our first episode, we're just recording. We'll give it back to you on the Pregame Show Network. But of course, we're going to go live moving forward because your boy's lazy. I ain't down for all that editing. But we just want to get one solid one going for you here. So Neely, let's start with your team, man. Jackson State is killing it. This weekend, they can wrap up a spot in the SWAC championship game. I know you came back for homecoming, right?
Yeah. We someone told me on campus that Friday during the homecoming celebration that you must be living right when Jackson State's homecoming coincides with a bye week in Colorado. So I was able to make it home. Got to spend some time with the grandson, and out there on the plaza, the yard as we call it. Good time was had by all. And while I was there, TC Taylor got an extension. Ashley Robinson, the athletic director, got an extension, and Coach Mo with the basketball program as well. So good to see JSU athletics still prospering and moving on down the line.
They say never follow the footsteps of a legend. Be the guy after the guy. I think we have to really shout out the job that TC Taylor has done. That first year, kind of had to work through it, but he literally has Jackson State right back where they were when he was an assistant under Coach Prime.
He's a great coach, great recruiter. He's assembled a great staff. He's that first branch, if you will, from Deion Sanders' coaching tree. And so for him to get that head coaching job following Coach Prime, and it's also TC Taylor's alma mater as well. So he was going to do all he could to hit the ground running and keep that tradition that Coach Prime had reinstated, which is the tradition that W.C. Gordon and all those other great coaches had, that you're winning or competing for the SWAC every year. And let me tell you this, Tyler. One of the things that happens when people separate or divorce, there's always shots being shot when one person is still single, ain't winning. And now that you have Colorado and Jackson State winning, hey, man, it's a beautiful thing. All that garbage, when Coach Prime first left, you don't hear it anymore.
No, because all you want is a winner, right? Like, who cares who the coach is? Are we winning? Yes. All right, great. So I was there last weekend for the Mississippi Valley State pregame. I didn't make it to the game, really. I like to get to the airport when the check is no longer registering. and I am off the clock. It is time to go. So I knew JSU was going to roll in that one, but had a good time out there listening to some great music, met some great people, as always, down in Jackson. The tailgate was popping, so it was a really good time. All right, Neely, Colorado has been on a roll, man, a 3-game win streak. And, Neely is funny. I haven't been able to watch every game because I watched probably the first half in the airport and then had to get on the plane there. But the one thing that I have not missed, Neely, is a lot of the people who were detractors of Coach Prime early in the season, coming off of last year, are the same people now reporting that he's wanted everywhere. It is funny how the narrative flips and the messenger by default has to stay the same, and sometimes a little egg looks like it is appearing on the brow.
Winning cures all ills. I don't care if your stomach hurting, your head hurting, your back hurting, you stubbed your toe. If you're winning, you don't even feel those pains. And one thing that Colorado is doing is winning. And let me throw in right now, and I told you so. I told everybody across the summer, even back as far as spring ball, fall camp, that this team was easily going to be an 8+ win team. When you look at the coaching staff that was brought in, the additions of Warren Sapp, Robert Livingston as defense coordinator, moving Vincent Dancy up. You just talked about Mississippi Valley State. Coach Dancy was the head coach at Valley, joined Coach Prime here as an analyst, and is now has his own room coaching the defensive ends and one of the top defenses in the nation, I might add. When you look at the players that were added to the offensive line, and even Shedeur Sanders and Travis Hunter found a way to get better in the offseason. There was no way this team was not going to be improved. We knew that we were going to get a bowl game that's 6 wins. And now the goal is to win the Big 12 championship. And even after the loss to Nebraska, everyone was saying, oh, there's no way, they're out of it, they're out of it. It was just like last year, a quick flash in the pan. What are you saying now? Now all I hear is Coach of the Year talk. Now all I hear is Big 12 championship and can make the CFP. That's something that would have been unheard of just a few years ago, because keep in mind, Coach Prime inherited a program that was 1-11, took it to 4-8, and as we sit here on the eve of the weekend of hosting Utah, sit at a record of 7-2.
Neely, I'll take it back even further. I think that it was the weekend that you and I met for the very first time. The false narrative that Coach Prime stormed out of SWAC Media Day, and it was like, oh, this is never going to work. This guy's a joke. He can't even take tough questions in Media Day. And then it was like, oh, okay, well, he's winning at HBCU. All right. Oh, he's at Colorado. All right. But the path, Neely, if you just look, there's not many. And again, he was a star coming in, but he still had to coach the program and do that part. What are we talking, Neely? A 3 to 4 year window where you go from to, oh man.
Yeah, it's been unbelievable. That's why I'm telling you right now, just like he did at Jackson State, he was back-to-back Coach of the Year at Jackson State. I'm looking for him to be National Coach of the Year at Colorado, because what he has done with this program just simply has not been done anywhere before. You look at even last year, 4 wins. Previous year before he got here, only 1 win. But bigger than that, to me, is not the wins, but just being competitive. When Colorado lost 10 games, they were losing by 30 points or more. 5 of Coach Prime's 8 losses were by 1 score or less. He was competitive in every game except 2. When you talk about the instant, immediate impact of leadership and turning around a program, and then doing it again the next year, getting a program bowl eligible plus 1 game, you're now at 7. Now with the potential and position to control your own destiny, meaning it doesn't matter what other people do. You don't need anybody else to lose. All you have to do is win, and you're in the Big 12 championship.
So what is that path, Neely? It's as simple as win the next, 3 games and you're there?
It is just that simple. We are in sole possession of number 2. BYU is the number 1 team. They're number 6 in the nation as we have this conversation. They're undefeated. They're not on our schedule. Our remaining games are home with Utah, travel to Kansas to play Kansas. We're going to play them in Arrowhead Stadium, and then a final home game against Oklahoma State. The remaining 3 games, Colorado is favored to win.
Wow. Boy, that should be a great piece in the Denver Post. I look forward to reading that one. Neely, tell us about you, man. How have you sensed as a content creator who is embedded in the program, along with a few others, Well Off Media, and we know the people that are there. Do you sense is there more demand on Neely? Do you feel your territory expanding as the winning expands?
That always goes hand in hand. You're going to have those uh, quick growth spurts as the team wins each week, and you're either going to have some decline when the team loses. I can remember seeing views being down the week after Nebraska and the week after Kansas State, but then there's an exponential factor that happens when you win that more than makes up for it. So you do get that sense of expanded territory and greater interest, but you also get more people coming, to that sub economy, that microeconomy as Deion Sanders in that content space as well. So blessed and fortunate to be one of three embedded media outlets in the program and the only sports show that's embedded in the program. So when it comes to being pregame, postgame shows, talking about practice throughout the week, Coach Prime has put us in a position that we're the singular voice in that space.
I have loved seeing in different places, but this whole thing of Shador being mic'd up and really getting that inside conversation like between him and his receivers. And some people are clutching their pearls like, oh my God, I can't believe he talks to them like that. He called him a B. But it's like, dude, that's how football players talk. I think the curtain being pulled back, not only here on the Pregame Show Network, but just across the board because of the increased interest, even at the network level, has really shown the leadership, the kinsmanship, the winning attitude, of course, the wins and the highlights, man. I just think this has been excellent for the people that are in place and in positions of power in this program.
Absolutely. And one thing that pulling that curtain back shows the world and proves to the naysayers is the leadership and football IQ of Shador Sanders. You will see him talk about what play needs to happen next and what routes need to develop and even what the decoy route is going to be. And he'll pinpoint receivers for each one of those roles. He's not sitting back and just saying, my coordinators do all that and I just do as I'm told. He's truly showing you a high football IQ and understanding of situational football and where the ball needs to go in his pre-snap reads and in his execution. One of the reasons why he's sitting there week after week, when one weekend he may not lead in touchdowns or yards, he's always leading in completion percentage. And when you're leading in completion percentage, you're putting your team in a damn good position to win the ball game.
All right, NFL, what is it looking like? Who's who's sticking it up enough to get that draft pick? Have you been playing the game in your mind of where he might land?
Well, it's a long list right now. There's a lot of teams out there that suck, quite frankly, and you need to be picking in the top five if you want Travis or Shador, which means you need to suck pretty bad, or you got to be willing to trade up to get one of those spots. So, I mean, you can look anywhere from the Raiders, the Saints, the Cowboys, the Carolina Panthers. The list goes on and on of people who would be in a position of picking somewhere in the top six picks in this upcoming draft. Because I do believe Shador Sanders will be the first quarterback off the board, and I do believe that Travis Hunter will be the first player off the board.
Let's talk about Dallas. A lot of people speculate online. People ask me, will Coach Prime go to Dallas? Coach Prime needs to go to Dallas. Unless something has changed, Neely, has his attitude towards professional athletes and working with them, i.e. by halftime, he would cut half the team, I think was something close to what he has said before. None of that has changed, right?
Not from his mouth to my ears, it hasn't. He has been adamant about being happy here in Colorado. He has been adamant about bringing a national championship back to this institution, being adamant about being the first black head coach to do so. I think he is more than happy where he is. He loves this community. He loves this institution, loves the people and the folks that he gets to work with on a daily basis. Having said that, all of that, You just have to see what remains in the future. I'm never going to sit up and say what a person will not do because I don't know the circumstances at the time when those opportunities may come available. But I can tell you right now what his focus is. His focus is Utah. His focus is Kansas. His focus is Oklahoma State. His focus is the Big 12 championship and then the CFP. So all this speculation about what may be next not only doesn't make a lot of sense right now, I don't think it's even pertinent to discuss because he is cemented where he is. He always talks about be where your feet are. Uh, just the other day, he was on a national broadcast and took the camera outside and said, "Look at my view. I'm not trying to leave here." So I think Coach Prime is here.
And I think this is the best place to win. And you look at the expanded college football playoffs, which gives you that opportunity. If you win a national championship at Colorado, as opposed to, maybe some of these other programs we're hearing about, like, you did your work, Neely. Like, there's no silver spoon in the pantheon of college football resting. There's a scenic view, but it's not a silver spoon program.
Absolutely. Make no mistake about it. This is not a blue blood football school. This is not a football school by any means. This is, not sitting in the SEC conference where you have not only the conference champion who's going to be in the playoffs, you're going to have probably 3 or 4 other teams that are still be in the top 12 as well. In this conference to get to the CFP, you have to win the conference. You just can't be, good. You got to get there because so many slots are taken up by those blue blood schools, football schools who've been just perennial powerhouses. And that's part of his decision to even come to Colorado, that to do it here really shows that he has what it takes to do it and that he can build the staff and to recruit the players that can do it because you are in Colorado. You're in the middle of the back end of the Midwest before you get to the West Coast, isolated just outside of Denver, and he is still getting it done. 2 of the top 5 picks in the upcoming draft are on this team. You have coaches with Hall of Fame jackets. You have coaches with NFL experience. And it's Deion Sanders who recruited all of that to Colorado, manages it, works with it, and has turned it into a winner in less than 2 years.
You and I did some work together over at HBCUGameDay.com. We have a piece, HBCU to Heisman, where we talk about Travis Hunter and Shedeur Sanders and their journey from Jackson State to Colorado and their potential to win the Heisman Trophy this year. We've seen some teams that were, players that were really hot, and then some guys start to lose. And whenever you lose, that what is it? A little bit of the bloom falls off the rose, if you will. So I think that's kind of happened to everybody in the mix right now. So as we get to mid to late November, how do you stack up the Heisman hopefuls, the Heisman chances when it comes to Shedeur Sanders and Travis Hunter?
Well, let's just look at the Heisman in and of itself first. It's supposed to go to the best player in college football, and that includes on and off the field. So it goes to a guy who's out there doing his thing on the football team and also doing his thing in the community as far as no blemishes there. You look at the Travis Hunter, the only person playing both sides of the ball to that degree, 103 snaps, and he's on the field for 100 of them, and doing all that while maintaining a 4.0 average. He is the top 5 receiver in the nation, and he's in the top 5 at cornerback in the nation. He is All-American mentions on both sides of the ball. How that doesn't get you to New York City and a Heisman in your hand, I have no idea. You look at Shedeur Sanders and what he's accomplishing. Again, there may be a quarterback with more yardage on a particular weekend or one with more touchdowns on a particular weekend, but no one in the nation has had his consistency week to week to week and still piling up wins and still putting up numbers. And so I think that both of them should be invited to New York. But because we have seen, great quarterbacks before, I think what Travis is doing right now is so unheard of and so unseen that the edge goes to him to win the Heisman. But they both have to be there. And they both started at HBCU, and they were doing these same things at a HBCU. The world just wasn't in a position to take notice of it. But now on this grander stage, exactly what they were doing in, say, the Celebration Bowl or the SWAC Championship or a rivalry game against Southern, they're now doing it against Utah's and Arizona's and UCF's. Nothing has changed.
Absolutely. This 3-game win streak, the second 3-game win streak of the year for Colorado. What has been the difference and what's been able to keep these guys moving from week to week and getting these dubs?
I think two things that occurred in the season. One, the loss to Nebraska was a big wake up call because you lost to someone pretty convincingly, and you thought you were going to be in a more competitive game. You beat them last year on your home field, and then they beat you on theirs this year. And I think that loss really galvanized the coaches and the team because you had so many people attacking the coaches and the team that this was going to be a repeat of last year, that there was a circling of the wagons that took place. Another thing I think happened, Tolly, the UCF game. You won that game and won it convincingly, but with the approaching hurricane, you had to leave early, and the team was pretty much sequestered to themselves for almost a week. The bonding that took place on that trip, the bonding that took place after the loss of Nebraska, is why you have what you have going right now, this tremendous win streak with 3 games left, 3 games that you're favored in. This team has never been closer than this. You don't see any pointing fingers. You see people taking responsibility and accountability, and that's something that you didn't have last year. And if nothing else, this offensive line has given Shedeur Sanders more time to stand up right in the pocket. And anytime you give a quarterback of that caliber who has the weapons like Travis Hunter, LaJohntay Western, Will Shepard, who came from the SEC, you're going to win some ball games.
It's been an interesting and fun year to watch. What are you looking forward to this weekend, Neely, when you kind of look at the opponent and kind of break down that game? What are your thoughts?
Looking forward to see how we perform when the other team has nothing to lose. Utah is coming here as a wounded animal. They played BYU, number 6 team in the nation, number 1 in the conference, undefeated, and they were leading that ball game to minutes left in it, and BYU was able to win. They feel they won that game. They let that get away. So they feel they're one of the top teams in the conference. So when you look at this wounded animal coming in here, that they have nothing to lose. They're trying to get to a bowl game, and they got to get a win in Colorado to get to that bowl game. For the past 15 years or so, they've had Colorado's number, so they're not afraid to play in Folsom Field. They're not afraid of this atmosphere. So they're coming in here to win a game. Now, on our side of the ball, we got to start out faster. We have to really, truly have a first quarter like we've never had before, because they're going to try to run the ball and control the clock. They're going to try to keep Shedeur and offensive Travis on the sideline as long as they can. If we can stop the run and make them pass the ball, going to be a long day for Utah.
All right, Neely, weather report. Is it snowing yet? Have you got to the part of the season where that white stuff is falling from the sky and sticking to the ground?
Absolutely not. When we were on the way to the two out-of-town game to Lubbock, Texas Tech, they had a record snowfall, early snowfall, but it was all gone by the time you got back. It hadn't snowed since. So should be 50 degrees and sunny when we kick off Saturday morning. So sorry to report, no snow. And we didn't play in a snow game last year other than the spring game.
Yeah, so the snow in the spring, but we don't get the late fall. That's the way it goes there. All right.
Fun fact, Dolly Carr.
Absolutely.
Colorado is the only state in the union that has registered snowfall in every month of the year.
Every month? Well, the mountains, yeah. So you get the snow.
The mountains are in the state.
Yeah.
And it snowed. So this is the only state where there has been snowfall every month of the year.
Wow. Well, yeah.
It ain't out there on Folsom Field, though, so we good.
No, but out in the distance, the snow-capped mountains. All right, look, it's the Neely and Tolly show here, so we get to talk about a lot of things. Christmas is on the way. What do middle-aged men like ourselves, Neely, what is on the top of our Christmas list?
You already got yours. You got the high top fade back. I see the blended side. It's starting to box like Coach Prime in Florida State. It looked wet, but it's dry. The curls are in there. Those are not spaces. Those are not bald spots. Those are curls in there. You already got yours.
Tight. All right, I got to do a hairdo. I got to do a hairdo. You know, Neely, as a kid, I hated socks and underwear. I swear to God.
Now that's all you want.
If I had a big box of socks, do you know how happy I would be? Here's what happens in my home. My wife steals my socks. My oldest daughter steals my socks. My middle daughter steals my socks. I have no idea why they flock to my socks. But when they can't find socks, they steal mine. And I never see them again. I have so many terrible mismatch combos of socks in my drawer right now. I mean, one day I'll have on like a Batman sock and a Puma sock because it's like the only two that I can find. So Anything other than socks and underwear, like I'm really kind of okay. Like those are the two.
Yeah, I'm fine too, but I ain't gonna say underwear. I need drawers because I got some drawers that look like they got 3 leg holes in them. One of the holes so big at the back, you think you put a leg through it. I don't need underwear. I need drawers.
But those are the most comfortable.
Man, you preach right there. Like you never want to throw those out. Like those are the ones they fit you just right. They hang just right. That's the ones you reach for them.
Man.
But when you putting them on and a foot go through where ain't no foot supposed to be, you're like, you know what? This is more like a Tarzan loincloth than it is a pair of drawers.
And it's that added ventilation or the ability of, maybe some gases to escape.
The gases will put the hole in them.
I'm here for it, man. I am here for it. I'm sorry, Neil. Don't eat trail mix before the show. I'm sorry. That peanut skin was just working its way around in there. But yeah, if I can get the one thing that I do need, I need a recommendation for you. I do need one technical thing because guys do like tech things.
Absolutely.
I've been holding on to these. I bought these Beats by Dre earbuds, and I tell you, man, maybe it was just my pair, but they don't charge. The left side will work, the right side won't work. What is the best for an active person who might go out and run a little bit? What is the best wireless earbud that I could get myself for Christmas?
I would say the ones by Apple, man. Just go with those. You got an iPhone, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, just man, have some continuity, some synchronicity. Just get everything on the same page. If you got a Sony PlayStation, it's gonna work best hooked to a Sony TV. That's just the way life is.
Yeah, I tried to go fancy. Shout out to Dr. Dre. Love your music, but I must have got that pair that just did not pass the QA inspection because it has been an absolute headache. All right, your top tier gift. All right, we're going to be happy with drawers and socks, but if you get that one special thing that maybe costs just a little more, what are you shooting for this year, Neely?
I'm like you. I like gadgets. I like electronics, and I like the kind of electronics I didn't know I needed. Like for my birthday, my daughter got me this Bluetooth, goes around your neck like headphones, but it's a fan. So you're out there on the football field in the summer, blows that cool air up under the beard. Never would have thought I wanted that or needed that, but I damn sure love it. So I'm into gadgets like that, stuff that you wouldn't normally buy yourself, but you appreciate getting.
All right, so for all our bearded brothers out there who want to be like Neely, what is the latest? What is the latest on your product, man? Can Santa drop it off under the tree?
Man, Santa can drop it off, and orders have already been going out. Uncle Neely's beard oil is in the market space. All you got to do is go to facedbyjazz.com. That's FACEDBYJAS.com, facedbyjazz.com. Hit that drop down menu for Uncle Neely's beard oil, and it's gonna ship right out to you.
All right. So what type of transformation? How can people what is it going to do to their beard once they get that Neely beard oil on it?
It's gonna make that comb go right through it. It's gonna make that comb go right through it like a hot knife through butter. You're gonna think you got a kit in your beard, but it's all natural.
And how long has your beard been a work in progress, a work of art? How long you been rocking it?
Man, that's a great question. I have cut it back several times, but it's been a long time since I cut it off. I think I've probably had a beard now about 10 plus years.
And how many stages? What are the different stages your beard has been through in the last decade?
Well, it's been, just the shadow. It's been just the goatee. It's been the typical length. It's been longer like Duck Dynasty. It's been all over the place, man.
I think right now is your look. The amount of silver and black right now, I think is the signature look. If you can hold that, Neely, I think that's a lifetime achievement award.
Let me tell you this, brother. Ain't nothing you can do to hold that silver. There's more silver coming every night.
I know, man.
That is out of my hands.
I know.
But speaking of silver and black, Shedeur might go to the Raiders.
Are you feeling that?
It's there's a lot of synergy, connectivity. Just depending on how the season goes for the Raiders, they could be one of those top five teams.
I have not watched a lot of NFL this year. I try to keep up with the Falcons. What has been the backstory on the Raiders this year?
One, they suck. And that they need a quarterback. So that those two boxes are checked. But then you have some relationship capital as well. I know Coach Prime and the Raiders head coach Antonio Pierce, have a relationship professionally and personally. So you always just look for little synergy things there.
And
It's just,
Tom Brady, part owner is.
Exactly. That's where I was going next. Tom Brady, part owner of the Raiders, and has trained you during the offseason. And the Raiders have publicly announced that Brady will have a significant influence in draft picks this year. So you start putting all that kind of stuff in the pot, and
That'll be a tight jersey, man. That would be a silver and black Sanders jersey. We'd have to get one back there, man, and get it framed.
would have to do it. Now, of course, a lot of people in this market are hoping that doesn't happen because a lot of people who are Buffalo fans or Broncos fans, and Raiders and Broncos are in that same division and don't get along. But I'm just telling you the kind of tea leaves that's out there. Even when Tua, I know he's back now, but when he first got hurt this early in the season, and it looked like he may go into an early retirement. Miami was looking like one of those cities that was going to be in need of a quarterback in the top five. So, man, there's a lot of moving parts out there, Tolly. A lot of moving parts.
I would think Miami, at the very least, has to have a backup plan like that. You can't bet the future on that.
No, absolutely. It's the same thing with the Raiders. Atlanta, you guys have y'all's future plan because you got Penix last year. Carolina clearly is going to need something. The Miami Dolphins. Then you got the Saints. Then you got the Raiders. There's some the Jets. Because it's not like Rodgers will be there another 3 years or so. So you got teams out there that need a quarterback. And then on the Travis side of the equation, who doesn't need a Travis Hunter? So it just depends on who's picking, first or second. Travis did say that as much as he loves the number 12, that if he would end up being with the Patriots, that he would find another number because there's no way he would try to wear Tom Brady's number at the Patriots.
Right, for sure. Real quick to further that point a little bit, a lot of times we see the casual fan, someone like myself, sees a really good college quarterback, but they have a really good offensive line. They have really good wide receivers. Wide receivers are running wide open. All they got to do is just get the ball to them. They have great running backs. So the quarterback at the end of the day, and a lot of times rightfully so, gets that credit. But Shedeur Sanders has shown he can play under distress. He can throw you open, and he can fit that ball in tiny spaces where only the receiver can get it. There are a lot of pro qualities that you're seeing at the college level with Shedeur.
Absolutely, which is why I say he's the best quarterback in college football, which is why I say he should be the number one quarterback taken. When you look at the QB market out there have been some quarterbacks in college this year to do some phenomenal things as far as coming back in the game. But when you go watch the game, they were the reason they were out of the game. They were the ones that threw two pick sixes in the first quarter and had to fight to get back. Shedeur never gets you in trouble. And there's some ancillary things when you look at his development. Not only does he meet all the metrics as far as the high football IQ, his body type, his throwing style. When you look at that, this brother, ever since he's been in college, has had a different offensive coordinator each of those years and still excelled. When you look at this past year in college, had one of the weakest, if not weakest, offensive line in college that year, sacked the most out of anybody, and still excelled. So what that says to me, if I'm one of these teams picking early, I probably have a bad team. If I have a bad team, I probably got a bad O-line and I'm switching coaches a lot. Here's a guy who's proven that he can perform in those situations. The best indicator of future performance is past performance. Shedeur Sanders has shown you he can play under duress, still get his numbers. He can lead a team. He has everything it takes to be a quarterback in the NFL. Not 3 years from now, not 2 years from now. He can start for a team right now.
And a quarterback obviously becomes the face of a franchise. And this is a guy that, socially, intellectually off the field as well as on the field. He's not going to, be like a deer in headlights. It's not going to be overwhelming. It's just going to be another day.
You don't have to panic at his press conference. You don't have to sit there with the Harlem Apollo Theater Sandman hook and try to grab him from the podium. He knows how to handle himself when the lights are bright on the field. He knows how to handle himself when the lights are bright off the field, whether it's his personal social media or post-game press conferences, or even the partners that he does business with. He does everything at a starting NFL QB level right now. He would be an exceptional pickup for somebody in the National Football League.
All right, before we get out of here on the Neely and Tolly show, you got Jackson State going to Alabama State this weekend. If they win, they wrap up the division. Do you think this will be the game that Jackson State gets it done? Do you think it's going to be a tough contest? Alabama State always gives Jackson State a tough time, and sometimes we'll just go back to last year's homecoming. What are you thinking this week with Jackson State, Alabama State?
Well, I think Alabama State still has something to fight for, much like Utah coming in here to Colorado. So I think you're going to get their best. But I also think T.C. Taylor and his staff and those players want to go ahead and wrap a bow around this thing and lock up the East. And if I recall right, if it's still the policy, the team with the best record hosts. So now you're looking at the SWAC championship being in Jackson before you head off to the Celebration Bowl. So I'm going to put my wager toward the Jackson State Tigers to absolutely get it done this weekend. No need in putting yourself in the hands of others and waiting on other scores. Take care of your business and you get it done.
All right, they'll be in Montgomery. I'll be there on the call. So if you want to check that out, I don't know the game time, but I'll be there. It'll be on somewhere. Jackson State.
And I'll actually be able to watch it because we finally got a morning kickoff. We kick off at 10 a.m. Mountain, which is noon Eastern. So my game will be over before the SWAC game will be over.
Oh, good. That means, again, I will miss the game in real time, but I'll catch a little bit of it, probably the first quarter, though. Neely, it's good to see you again, brother. October was just an October type of month, but November here, we're reconnecting, and it's good to be with my brother, man. I won't even crack any jokes this week. I'll save that for next week.
Then we'll say that for the live show next week. So I want to say this, Tolly, good to be back with you again. Miss you for the month of October, but absolutely proud of the reasons why I missed you in October. And to the fans who've been blowing up the inboxes, he's right there. He's back. So welcome him back down there in the comments, man. Tell him you missed him, and he didn't even wear his civil rights blazer today.
I've revamped my style since I last saw you, Neely. I didn't wear my scarf today, man. I'm wearing scarves and sweaters and little tight-fitting shirts. I'm a new man, Neely.
That Procter & Gamble money good, ain't it?
A little bit, just a little bit. But, I live in Atlanta. They'll come looking for you if they think you're making too much. All right, I'm still Po Man Tolly. I will check you guys out along with my brother Neely. It's the Neely and Tolly Show right here on the Pregame Show Network. We'll see you next time.